Welcome back to another roundtable. My name is Adam. Once again with me, Rusmin.
Hello.
And Victor.
Hi everyone.
Thank you for joining us. And of course, at this roundtable, since we're still in the new year, all right. And when it comes to the new year, a lot of people make resolutions. Did you guys make any resolutions?
Not for me.
Not for you.
Yeah,
You did.
I don't. I think it's sort of a resolution, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to the new year, people tend to make resolutions, and of course, if you're an investor, maybe you have resolutions about how to become a better investor and all that. But I find that resolutions sometimes they don't actually work. People make how many times do you hear about people that I made a New Year's resolution and it never really happens.
99% of the time.
99% of the time, right? So, and the thing about resolutions sometimes is because it's really vague. You don't really know what you're gonna do, what you want to achieve, and sometimes things change, and maybe it's too hard. Maybe you set something that's like maybe just too difficult to get started on.
Yeah.
So at this roundtable, we're going to talk about resolutions and habits and micro habits that can make you a better investor. So we don't want to deal with the big stuff. Like for example, if let's say Victor asked you to go read an annual report every single day, you're not going to do stuff like that.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So we're going to do with micro habits, things that are really easy for anyone to do that can make you a better investor straight away. All right. So we're going to deal with 3 today. We're going to share some of them. And what's the first one you're going to share about?
And the first one is actually the easiest one, right? And which is basically don't check the stock prices.
So this is not even about doing don't do anything.
Yeah, don't do anything.
So
right?
don't look at stock prices. That's one micro habit.
Yeah. So the reason why I share this point is because a lot of times when people look at stock prices, especially in the volatile market, people tends to panic. And when the prices go down, sometimes they panic. They look at the position that they have, look at the money, the amount of money they've lost in terms of percentage and the amount itself. It can be quite scary. Okay, so and on top of that, once you are scared and you read news, typically the news will be bad. Right, either way on the macro level or on the micro level, and you may start to trigger you on the urge to push the sell button on your broker, right? And these are the things that you don't want it to happen to you if you are doing long-term investing. But of course, if you are a trader, you need to make sure that you check your prices, every second.
It's totally different. I mean, traders definitely, but as a long-term investor, you really shouldn't be looking at prices every day or every hour, right?
Yes. So that is a very simple habit that you can do. Basically, don't check stock prices.
Don't do it. Just don't look at it. Don't get addicted to it.
Yes.
And I find that the people who tend to look at stock prices, if you're not a trader, is that you're kind of looking for validation. It's like, I think I made the right decision. The price goes up. Yeah, I made the right investment. But when it goes down, they think that, I made the wrong decision. So they base their whether they made the right decision based on what the stock price is telling you. Which is entirely different, because what you should be looking at is whether you bought the right business.
Yes.
That makes sense over the long term.
Yeah, so you want to check on the fundamental instead. So let's say if you buy Starbucks, you own Starbucks shares, so you want to own it for a long term, you want to make sure you go to the Starbucks outlet and check whether there's queue forming and stuff like that. If you own Apple, for example, you want to make sure that whether people around you are buying more and more Apple stuff. Okay, so those are the signs that you want to look out for. Not the stock prices.
I think one of the really, really good signs is when you look at, like for example, you look at Facebook. Are we using Facebook that often as compared to the past? It's not, right, but we are more towards Instagram right now. So you can see there's a shift, right? So that's what you should be focusing on, as what Rusmi has said. But of course, I would say, don't look at stock price on a daily basis, but then I think on a quarterly basis, you still have to check when the fundamental come out. You still have to go back and check whether the price still makes sense, or does it give you better value at that point of time.
So the best thing to do, of course, is when you start to hear there's a crash going on, right, and you have money to spare to buy the stock market, the shares in the stock market, and you can go in and check what are the prices at the point of time, and the moment you buy it, you close it off, and then next few months after you have money, you can go and look around again.
I actually don't know the stock prices of many of my investments. I have no idea. I know it's somewhere there. I think it's around there, but I just can't remember exactly.
It goes up and down.
Goes up and down. It really doesn't matter. I think that's the first micro habit that we can share with you guys. If that's a habit that you tend to have, this is something that we want you not to do. So this is one micro habit. Don't look at stock prices, except for maybe every quarter or when there's major news affecting the stock.
Or when you need to buy shares.
All right. So that's number 1. So habit number 2, this one I can share with you guys, is that when you go out shopping, most of the time we're consumers. Where we love to shop, buy stuff, spend money. And a lot of the times we're looking at things from the perspective of being a consumer. How much can I buy? But on the flip side of that, someone is producing that for you. So you got to ask yourself, who's producing this service, this product that you're paying so much money for. So like Apple, Facebook, Starbucks and stuff like that. And when you find something like that, you got to ask yourself, is this company, is it making a lot of money? Yeah. And is it listed on a stock exchange? So I think that's the first, that's the second micro habit that you can have. Because a lot of times, I think like maybe, how much you think, 80-90% of people out there, they don't think about that.
Yeah. Yep.
They go out there and they just spend money. But there are people that go around who's making all that money. And then you want to take a look at, at their stock prices. Yeah, I mean, not the stock prices, at their stocks, all right, whether they're listed and all that stuff.
I think it just gives you more places to look for ideas when you do that, right?
Yeah.
You can find a lot of ideas. I mean, in my initial years, that's what I did, and I find a lot of stocks, especially in the Singapore market, to invest in many years back, right?
Yes. So in the early days, maybe one example that I can give is BreadTalk. So I was looking at this company, the queue, there was always a queue form on the BreadTalk stores, and also one of their chain, Food Republic, and also Din Tai Fung is really crowded. Before the COVID level, that was I think not 8 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Those are the things that you can pick it up, and then you ask yourself whether the company is registered. And once you have this idea, of course, you can have to do more thorough research before you actually buy them. Okay, so this is just avenue for us to find ideas.
It's a good micro habit to have, because you're training yourself to look who are the ones making money.
Yeah. So if you were to remember what Rusmin had just talked about BreadTalk, right? If you were to link back to the first point that we talked about, don't look at stock price, you should be looking at the company's fundamental. So I remember Rusmin was buying into BreadTalk. He was visiting the stores, and there's still a lot of people going BreadTalk. But the share price is tanked every day, and they tank from the peak to the trough 30%. Because there's one major fund manager that's selling the shares. But then, like what Rusmin said, he goes to the store, everything is still working, people are still queuing up. It does not affect the fundamentals. So that's why these are opportunities that you can find as you go along every single day.
And the other advantage of this is that when you're looking at the things that you buy, you're familiar with this product, you're familiar with this business.
Yes.
And when you want to go into deeper research, it's a lot easier to just jump onto it. It's a lot more fun to learn about it, how this company is actually making your money. And you want to have a piece of that action as well as an investor. So I think that's really good.
So of course, this doesn't just apply on your personal consumption level. Sometimes it could be on the business level, or some of the software that you are paying for, your company is paying for. So those are ideas where you can actually pick it up, because if you start to complain that this company raised prices and yet I have no choice but to stick with it. Then that is where the mode of the company comes from, right? So those are the things that you should find out.
If you can't win them, you just join them, right?
Yeah, correct. So I think that's a really good micro habit to have. Again, really easy to implement when you're out shopping or when you're out working, using the stuff in your office and stuff or wherever you are. Find out if there's something that you use a lot, spend money a lot on, whether they are produced by a listed company. So that's micro habit number 2. All right, so micro habit number 3. Anything else you guys want to share?
Yeah, maybe I can share about my personal note. Okay, so basically, if I were to take public transport, maybe bus or train to work and all this, right? Usually my transport time duration will be around 20 to 30 minutes. So during that time, what I usually do is I will read books. Right, I'll set a habit that I'll read like 10 pages. So the 10 pages of books can be covered within 20 minutes. So if you think about it, right, if you can read 10 pages a day, it will be about 300 pages a month. That's literally one book. So you can read at least 12 books a year. So that actually helps to increase your knowledge. Okay, but of course some people, they don't want to read book, because when you read the book, you need to process the thoughts. I mean, I like it. I like to read, then I think about what the author is trying to say and all this, right? But some people, they just want to, I just don't want to do anything, I just want to listen, and I want to let my muscle memory or my memory just absorb whatever it takes, right? So you can listen to podcasts, right?
I personally actually listen to podcasts a lot because you can do that during your commute time, whether you drive or take public transport, or sometimes if you're doing some house chore, you can just on your podcast and then just simply listen.
You do house chores?
I do occasionally.
That's very nice. So Rusmin is this modern husband, does house chores.
I was speaking to a friend recently. She says she usually listen to the podcast when she's ironing clothes. So there's something it's very easy for you to implement it. So there are 2 podcasts maybe I can actually suggest. Okay, so one of it is actually Invest Like the Best, and this is actually hosted by Patrick Colossus. And yeah, so she's actually someone who share or interview a lot of experts in the investing field, or entrepreneur who run the businesses, and ask them question about what investor would like to find out. Okay, so it applies, or it's actually very useful for me as an investor when I listen to different people with different perspective, running different companies in different industries. Yep. Right, so that's one thing that I appreciate. And of course, when it comes to China, you don't want to miss out this podcast called Pen Daily, right? And it's Tech Buzz China by Rema. I think she is probably one of the best when it comes to information about Chinese tech. Okay, so she shared a lot of insights about China, and on top of that, she also invited a lot of experts in China market, be it investors or people who work in certain companies, and to share actually information about Chinese technology. Okay, so these are the podcasts where I find them quite useful, and it doesn't take you a lot of effort. You just need to go to Spotify or whichever podcast app that you're using from, just follow them, and then whenever they release new episode, you can just simply tune in, right? You don't have to listen everything, listen or choose the topics that you're interested to listen from.
And there's one more podcast that I can actually recommend, which is ours.
Yes.
So if you actually not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. And we have a podcast as well, so these roundtables are actually on Spotify. So listen to us as well. So three handsome young men in front of you talking about investments as well. I think we do a good job as well. So podcasts I think are a great way to, because I think books are great. But some people just don't want to read books, or they're driving. You can't read a book when you're driving.
I think for me, I think podcast is very slow. Right?
Okay.
So usually I like to speed up
the thing 2 times.
If I were to listen, it's like 1.5, 2 times.
Go ahead and speed up our videos as well. Speed up videos as well. No problem.
Most of the time it's 2 times, right?
So podcasts, financial radio as well. We cover on
89.3
FM, Money FM in Singapore, or wherever you are in the world as well. It's a great time to just kind of make your downtime or your commute time just more productive. And it's an easy micro habit to pick up, because you're not actually doing anything. You're just kind of like putting something in your ear.
Yes.
You're just listening to it, and then it's like, I know Kung Fu.
I think it's is you have to be very selective in choosing the podcast, right? I mean, there's a lot of podcasts out there, then some of them, the qualities and all this, right? But my take is that when you are listening to the podcast, right? I lost my thoughts.
Okay, so like Victor lost his train of thought. So anyway, we're on this radio and podcast during your downtime, which is a great way to just make your downtime more productive. So if any podcasts you want to share with us, do let us know as well. So these are micro habits that you can pick up, which actually I think these are really small things that you can add into your daily life. But do it over time. It compounds, just like your investments, because you kind of all of a sudden you start going out, you start to see, these are investments, these are companies every single day, or like your radio and your podcast you're listening every day. It builds up over time. Knowledge builds upon knowledge, and you get better.
So when you continue to learn, right, you just not trying to be better than the version of you yesterday. Right? So you just keep doing it, and then over the years you start finding yourself that become really good at this particular topic. Right?
Oh, I just remember what.
Okay, now you got it back.
So what I'm trying to say is that because a lot of times when people want to listen to the podcast, right? They always say, I want to listen to this podcast, I want to listen to that podcast, I want to listen. Eventually you won't do anything, right? So what I'm trying to say is that when you start your podcast, just Rusmin just recommended 2 of the podcasts. Just go to that 2, go and listen, build out the habit first, then you start adding on podcasts. Don't say that, I want to listen to this, I want to listen to this, I want to listen to this. You will never start on. Start somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
Start somewhere and make it something that's easy to do. Because it's easy to do. It's like going to the gym. If your gym is like 5 hours away, you're not going to go to the gym. But if your gym is like 10 minutes away, or maybe 30 minutes away.
At home.
Or at home. Even some people have home gyms. It's so much easier to just go to the gym. You want to remove the barriers to whatever you want to be successful at.
You want to create a habit, and it requires you 21 days to do it,
Okay. So these are micro habits, in the new year in 2022. These are really small things that you can get started with that can make you a better investor. You can apply these micro habits, this micro habits concept in other areas of your life to make things just easier and just get the ball rolling. Once the ball gets rolling, it gets up to speed.
Yep, right? The compounding effect.
Compounding effect. All right, so I hope you really enjoyed this roundtable in this new year still. We're still in January. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Adam once again. This is Rusmin. This is Victor.
Thank you.
If you like this roundtable, please hit the like button. Tell us you're doing a great job. Of course, subscribe to our content. We have many more roundtables coming up in this new year as well. And of course, any questions or discussions, put them in the comment section. We'll love to have a conversation with you. So we'll see you around again, and Happy New Year.